So Mark, in the audio community, I think you're quite famous for being, mixing big shows with a big old animal, analog disc there.
Yeah.
And I think, there's some people out there in the world that are a little bit surprised that you've changed and, you've made a transition.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that you mixed back in the day in a profile and stuff, and I know that you're not an analog purist by any means, but talk to me a little bit about the transition from mixing this band on an analog disc to bringing the SXL back to the center of the show.
Yeah, well, I mean, you touched on one thing there about the analog purist.
Yeah.
So it turns out, I kind of worked it out that with this system, there's less A to D paths than there was with my XL4 system, because with how I used the Pro 2C sidecar, I was basically doing loop throughs, so there was actually quite a lot of A to D, D to A going on.
Sure.
Now, the reasons for changing were, there was a couple. One was, as you'll see with this show, it's quite theatrical, so our input kind of jumped again. So that.
What are you up to now?
Well, I mean, I'm often asked this question about how many inputs do you have, but it's not really. I don't think the number really matters anymore, because there's so much control channels. We've so many multiples of, say, Matt's vocal is 6 different mics here and there.
Sure.
There's so much talk back. There's so much. So we've got we've got 2 stage rack system here.
Yeah.
I think we're using at the moment about 112 lines there.
Yeah.
But I don't have 112 live inputs happening here, So it's odd. Because remember back in the day, it's like, oh, he's got 32 channels. Who does he think he is?
I remember the first time I mixed the Mannix in an arena with 13 channels.
13, there we go. Yeah. That beats my 5 JJ72 channels. So having the input capacity, so, for instance, we need a drum kit on the B stage.
Yeah.
I can now say, okay.
Yeah.
The last tour I did with that XL4 system on drones, there were moments where we had to go like, well, no, we can't do that because this, that, the other. So it was to kind of give freedom back to the artist. From my own point of view, there was things that I wanted to move on with, how I was approaching mixing.
Sure.
And to keep learning. We were touring an A/B system of that XL4 system. As you can imagine, that was quite unwieldy,
Quite heavy.
And the maintenance aspect of that as well.
Sure.
So it was kind of a time for a change. And then the other thing was that Adam Taylor, who mixes monitors, he was on a Pro X, I was on an XL4. We were on different platforms, and so it was a little bit splintered. Yeah.
So what made you choose the SXL?
Well, first of all, to get to the SXL, I looked at all the big players out there. I looked at all the big platforms, and there's a lot of great sounding platforms out there. And anyone who says, you don't use that because that sounds bad, nothing sounds, at the top level, nothing sounds bad. They all sound good.
Absolutely.
What brought me to the SXL was a couple of things. First of all, it's pristine sounding. Now, I know, to some people, pristine is a bad word, but what I mean by that is it allowed me to bring the character I wanted to it. It didn't impose its character on me.
Brilliant. So open platform, you can use the plugins. Outboard gear.
Yeah, well, obviously the control section and the snapshots and that whole part of this that was massive for me as well.
Yeah.
I remember because I think when we were talking first about me possibly getting on it, and you just went, "You're gonna love this."
Yeah.
I was going.
I tell you why I knew you were gonna love it, because I think you're a bit like me. You're a bit of a control freak, and you're a bit of a kind of
the details.
Right? And I knew just from having known you for so long that when you saw the events stuff, that you would flip out, and you would, and not only that, but you would come up with a whole bunch of stuff that nobody else had ever come up with. So I was really excited about coming here.
Yeah.
And you show me your events and your snapshots. So, MC, we're gonna reset the cameras. We're gonna get the chairs out of the way.
Yeah.
We're gonna dive in on the desk, and we're gonna go through the show. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yep.
So that's gonna be the second half of this video.
Excellent.
Let's do that.
Cool.